So for this workshop, the story, we're going to talk about the Killing at Night. That's the title. Um, so last time I did the workshop for Tim and Jeff's story, it didn't get the like reception. I don't know. Like the reaction I get is not what I anticipated, not what I wanted, which is I guess bad for me. Like I want to people to understand Jeff, and I don't think people understand. I mean, to be fair, I don't even understand, but I try. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's the point of the story is so we could understand Jeff even more now, as I also try to understand him because I somehow make him very complex question mark. Yeah, yeah. So in order to do that, I decided to write it in first person and sorry, my brain. First person and present tense in Jeff's perspective. Yeah, and the story happened when Tim is going to do some tapping people. Yes, and there's like a second POV from for the people who has read it now knows that it's Slenderman. I originally didn't plan to write him, but after like having some writing block, I decided to put it in, and he was perfect. Yeah, that is all for that. Now for the first question, the one that's most important for me. What do you think about the writing style of this story? Well, I guess I will read everything I write here. Is it hard to read? Maybe a bit too wacky because very let loose, and maybe Jeff asking too many questions to himself. Yeah. What do you think about the writing styles? Do you like it? Do you don't? What do you like? What do you don't like?
I can start. So for me, what I actually like the um how you wrote the first person point of view. It was fast paced, and I like enjoyed every part of it. And I think you were asking like if Jeff becoming maybe like introspective is a problem. I actually like that we saw him being introspective sometimes, because I think that's also a good use of first person perspective, because I don't think, I mean, with third person omniscient, we can still get into the characters' heads, but I like the intimacy, I guess, that I got um, with how you wrote Jeff. Like, I feel like I understand him better and I can actually empathize with him, surprisingly, because I'm not a bloodthirsty maniac. So yeah, I liked it. I think the strength of the piece is this first person look into Jeff and his dynamics with Tim. I will say though that the switch in point of view with Slenderman, I'm not quite sure what I feel about that yet, because I don't see it done, and I feel like it might confuse some of the readers that there's suddenly a different character we are following when we're like after the midpoint of the story. So it does make me think if the story should be in third person omniscient, and then we follow Jeff at first and then Slenderman, or um the Slenderman parts will also be written in Jeff's point of view. So it's actually him remembering his time in the hospital, as opposed to Jeff telling him, "Oh, remember what happened in the hospital?" So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Like you want the first person to be 100% Jeff, but if if I do that, the part where the Slenderman and Tim talking, no,
Yeah.
there. Do you think if what do you think about that?
I guess it's it's such a hard thing to let go of because I also like that part. Um, but yeah, let me think about that for a bit and then I'll get back to you.
All right then.
Um, I can share some. Uh, so I also like the first person point of view. I also thought it was fast paced, which was you know fun to read. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time you've done. Is this the first time you've done first person? Were the others in first person, or were they in third person?
This is my first time.
Ah, yeah, okay. So yeah, that's what I remember. Is I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then you get the you on the second part. It's another first person, another point of view of the first person. And then it goes back to uh,
Yeah,
it goes
from
back.
Slenderman.
There were some parts, especially at the start. It was more. It was. I would think about it a few times at the start. How I'm not convinced too much that like Jeff makes statements or like he describes the situation uh, a little bit too well. He's very well. He comes across as very perceptive, right? Because um, sometimes the things he's describing would be things that like an omniscient narrator would notice, but maybe not necessarily would fit in the first person point of view, unless the person is very perceptive. So that's like the way I saw it in my mind. I just said, okay, maybe he is a perceptive character. Um, but yeah, I mean that's something to be, I guess, aware of.
Hmm. I mean, it would be nice if you can like give some outline on which part do you think like is a bit
Oh
too
yeah, sure.
omniscient. Is that what you say? Yeah.
Um,
I found one.
okay.
Um, in the first page, one, two, three, four, five. I think fifth paragraph, Tim processed what I had just said and answered with a long sigh. I think either that part is removed or we see how Tim processes it. Because right now we are told, right, that he processes it. But what if, you know, this is Jeff seeing Tim like, I don't know, does he put his hand on his chin? Um, what does Tim look like when he's, thinking about something? So I think the show don't tell aspect would come in handy for those parts.
Yeah. One of the reason why I don't write with first person too much is sometimes I'm scared I'm too descriptive and sometimes I'm scared I'm not descriptive enough.
Yeah,
Like
that makes sense.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Okay.
So my example would be um the third paragraph. And he sounded tired and lifeless, just like how he lived his life. His eyes were as gloomy as it could get. I'll bet he would be more full of life if he had just accepted her way of life. Well, I guess that's fine. Um, yeah, I guess that's
I think my example's the better one.
fine.
Yeah, because like they have lived together for sometimes, not specific time, but yeah, he has seen like his eyes is mostly like I guess the people describe it as fish eyes.
Yeah. I think just make sure that whatever descriptions we see of Tim, it's something that Jeff can see or hear or sense. So yeah, what Jeff perceives with his five senses, pretty much.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else wanna share their opinion on the writing style?
Hi, Olga. Um,
Hi, hi.
with the writing style, I really enjoyed the internal narration of Jeff. Like, I really didn't think it was messy, although, like, I'll be citing something later that I think can be, that I think can be improved more. But for the most part, I really enjoyed reading this piece and like getting to know Jeff. I also echo Steph's statement that I didn't expect that I would not really relate, but like I would understand Jeff because from the last few things that you've submitted, like the last few pieces that you submitted, um I really thought Jeff was someone I couldn't like if I could quote something before, I think I said like I don't think I would want him to be my friend. And even though it's still true now, I at least get him on some level. And I think the way you wrote it like really helps me. And like what I said earlier, there is a certain part that I feel like uh o- that I feel like his internal monologue isn't congruent with what he's outwardly showing or saying. Like I also want to cite page 8 after the red highlight. um Jeff says here internally, no, 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 what have I done? But he outwardly says, this is your fault, Tim. Um, because in moments like that, if he was saying like, what have I done internally, and then says what this is your fault, Tim. It might be a little too quick. Like it might like jumping from one point to another is a little bit too quick. So maybe you could either like ease us into his feelings more, like ease us into how he's processing this thing. Like before he changes like his thoughts on the thing on like the situation. But overall, yeah, I really enjoyed the writing style. And like the writing style makes the visual aspect of the story more impactful. Like by visual aspect, I mean like the use of color red, the italics, the one block of red highlight. Like they were all very consistent to the story you want to tell. So yeah, writing style is cool.
Thank you, Charis.
Can I answer your question?
Which one?
Your question of what happens to Tim's section with Slenderman if the section is told from Jeff's point of view. So can I offer my answer?
Okay.
Um, I think well part of the wait, why am I hearing myself? Anyway, part of the thing with Tim and Slenderman is for at least for me, okay, I think it just hammers it home that Slenderman was the one who created Jeff as a monster. Because I think there's a line here. Um, I highlighted it, but now I can't see it. Oh, there. For first things first, I never knew his white skin was your doing, and all that stuff. Blah blah blah. So I feel like it just hammers home Jeff's backstory. I mean, the Tim section with Slenderman. And I think you can definitely write or achieve the same effect by showing it from Jeff's point of view. Like, for example, Jeff feels his face being peeled off or burnt by Slenderman. Um, Maybe like his brain can still work and remember that time that his face got burnt and that time that Slenderman, made a deal with him in the hospital. And maybe Jeff will also feel ashamed knowing that Slenderman is punishing him in front of Tim because he knows Tim is there. So I think by just having that acknowledgement of Tim being there, I think it might strike. I think the reader would be smart enough to connect the dots and for the reader to see that, okay, Slenderman made Jeff into this like murder obsessed monster. And maybe Jeff, as he is feeling his skin peel off, maybe he might see something in Tim, like in the process of like squirming. I don't know, like he might see pity from Tim, or maybe Tim gets worried. So I think there's a lot of reaction from Tim that Jeff can see that will just sort of show that maybe Tim realizes that, yeah, Jeff wasn't a monster since birth, something like that.
So your suggestion is that, I mean, in the story, Jeff thought that Tim is already dead.
Oh yeah.
Or,
Oh. Hmm. Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, but
Right.
if I use your suggestion, then Tim didn't die. He just like almost dying. Almost.
Maybe. Sorry, I forgot about Tim dying. Okay, but I think you can flesh it out in your head. But yeah, I'll leave it to you. But I think you can achieve the same reaction from the reader.
Yeah, I mean, I could make Tim kind of alive in that section then, if following your suggestion. I'll think about it.
Yeah, think about it.
Theo, can you try your audio again?
Is it okay now or is it still?
It's perfect.
All right. Okay. So actually, I wanted to say something about the Slenderman perspective. I actually kind of think it's an interesting perspective to read from. Like, I kind of agree with Steph's points where it definitely could, like Tim could definitely mirror some of the points that that scene was trying to make. But I thought coming from like the thought process behind Slenderman was very interesting. Like the way he knows like how to sequence his emotions, like that was very interesting to me. Because personally, I think that the point of view from wait, hold on, why can't I hear myself? Anyway, yeah, I think that the point of view from Jeff, like I wanted more from him. Like I love the internal questions. As a matter of fact, I wanted more. Like I want to see him sort of struggle with empathy. I wanted to see him feel remorse. I wanted to go through that motion with him, and like that, getting that from the Slenderman perspective actually gave that to me, that sort of ride of like, what does it feel like to be inside of a psychopath's head? So it's like that very methodic kind of thing. I like that. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying earlier, I thought the writing style is direct. It's very to the point. And because there's not a lot of build-up, when the emotions come, when the sort of impact of the scenes arrive, they kind of crash into you. They come raw. So I like that. Yeah. Any other comments here? Hold on. Yeah, I wrote down the questions about the questions that he asks, like about Tim and about why is this guy so annoying, that sort of thing. it makes his psychotic behavior so much more believable to me. I think it's like, why is he questioning everything? Like, why doesn't he understand everything that's going on? Like, why does he have so many questions? That sort of thing. So yeah.
Uh, sorry. Thank you, Theo. Um, Charlie's. I don't know if you have mentioned this already, but what do you think about the second POV part, the Slenderman one?
Hello. I like the second POV. I agree that it was a bit jarring at first. But I I don't really mind it because I because seeing from Slenderman's point of view, it was very contrasting. It contrasted Jeff's own point of view. Like Jeff, he wasn't very mm, he wasn't a clean cut method kind of killer. Like he's not very composed. He's he relies on rage, he relies on like maniacal laughter into the night. But you know, a slender man, he's very composed. Like he's very like he's the mysterious villain who has like a monologue. Um and I'm thinking of like Fire Lord Ozai, but I don't know. I'm sorry for my Avatar reference, but anyway, I did like the second point of view. I guess it depends. If your story is a standalone, I think there might need to be like an wait no because there's a section in the beginning part where Slenderman was also talking to Jeff, or maybe this also serves as like a flashback. So um I don't really mind if there was no easing into the second point of view part. Like I don't know, I'm okay with it. I'm sorry if that's I'm sorry if that's my central idea. I'm okay with it, but yeah.
It's okay. Avatar is cool. We all know Avatar is cool. I'll be surprised if somebody say that Avatar is not cool. Yeah, I guess I also don't remember if you have shared your opinion about the second POV from Slenderman, Raphael. Have you do you like or do you not like or no strong opinion RN?
Oh, it was surprising. I realized when I realized that it was a change of view, I only realized it after reading it until the next page. I mean, what else going on? Okay, we changed point of view. So, mm, if that's the intention, I think.
Yeah. So I suddenly remember. I'll just explain this one thing. The idea behind the second POV is that Jeff in so much pain that he cannot think anymore. So
Ah,
did the narration talking whatever for him. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, that totally makes sense.
I'll try to be small like this. Yeah. So yeah, the next question is, what do you think about Jeff now after reading the story? Can you like? I mean, you don't have to relate, but can you understand his goals slash motivation better now? Plus the second question, if you still don't get it, how can I improve on that?
Um, I can start with that. I think actually, since although I mean, like these were comments that we made before, but um, like it's still before I remember feeling somehow sympathetic to Jeff or like, hey, this guy, because I remember especially the very first one, right? It was always he somehow showed friendship if I recall correctly, like he stood up for Tim. Is that right?
I
Did I
don't,
remember it right?
I don't think that's Jeff. I think that's the other two.
Ah, it's someone else. Oh, yeah. What?
It's Jack and Ben, I think. Yeah.
I'm
It's Jack.
misremembering that. Um. Okay, I'm misremembering. I always thought that that was the same guy. Like he had a bro moment. I should say.
No.
Okay.
Well, while Raphael tries to remember, I think I can offer my thoughts on Jeff. I think okay, the thing with Jeff is I thought he was just like a psychopath type of, person, just wanted to kill people. And I think with this story I realized that he really does have a mission to kill, almost like a, I guess, like a hitman. Um, so that's what I get from him. And he has, that like he's easy to anger. And I think it was Charlize who said it, like whenever he kills, he's driven by rage. And what I've learned also from here is, I guess, what's interesting about him, it's not really like a desire or motivation, but more like his conflict of following the mission or following Slenderman's order of him to stop killing Tim. And I think it's interesting how that plays out, because for him, he feels like killing Tim is about teaching Tim a lesson. And he just feels like for him it has something to do with like right or wrong, his version of right or wrong. And yeah, I think, well, we obviously saw it, like he had to learn the hard way that um what's more important to Slenderman is to follow his order, and it's okay when do like whatever percent of the mission complete. So it doesn't have to be 100% complete, but like a little over halfway there is going to be fine. So yeah, I think him, like the process of him learning that and what he takes away from that when it comes to also like the kinship with Tim is really interesting. And for me, I really just saw or felt how human Jeff was at the end of it all, because like he remembers, I guess, that time when he was vulnerable and human. And Tim also recognizes that, vulnerability or maybe weakness. I'm not really sure. However, it is that you think of it. Um, and like I like how it ends. That recognition of, yeah, it's okay where you are right now, of just this state of vulnerability, of uncertainty, pain. So yeah, I really liked it. It just was so human to me.
Oh, thank you, Steph. I really, yeah, happy that you can get that many from this story. Okay. Who's next?
Hi, Egg. I can share next. Um, I I'm not super sympathetic of Jeff. I still think that his motivations are even though his motivations are clear now, I still think like it's very negative, which is fine, which is great. But what I like about his negativity is that, like like what Steph said, there's a humane aspect of it now, because like one of the dialogues between him and Tim was like when he was talking to Tim, he had a side note to himself that he wants Tim to be like an ideal like an ideal what you call it, sidekick to him or something like that. And in like when he said that, like it made me think that, oh, Jeff thinks that Tim is a little bit weak-willed or like just weak in general. But like the scene where Tim Tim stands up to Jeff and Tim betrays Jeff by lying about the kid that he killed but he didn't actually kill. Like I think that's one of the strongest scenes in this piece because I realized that Tim stood up to Jeff, which shows bravery, but Jeff didn't stand up to Slenderman and instead like went behind Slenderman's back without explaining or standing up to himself. So it made me realize that Tim is actually being the brave one and Jeff is kind of not, which goes to show that, he knows he's strong, but like he knows he's not the strongest, especially compared to Slenderman, which is very humane compared to my initial impression of him. So yeah, I'm definitely on the Jeff boat now.
By both, what do you mean? Like, yeah, what do you mean with both? Sorry.
Oh no, both is random. Both just means like I find myself liking Jeff now.
Yeah, that's good for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I can go next, I think. Is my audio still okay or is it horrible?
It's perfect, Theo.
Okay. So, in general, I think I wanted more stakes. This is my first time reading about Jeff, so
Oh,
might be a little bit different. But I felt like I wanted more stakes for him other than the incredible amounts of pain. Like I wanted to know what it meant for him to feel empathy again. Since this is a person who hasn't felt that in a long, long time, I felt like I want to know what is it like for you to want to rely on another person. To what is that pull like, you know? So yeah, I want to feel empathy. I want to feel more empathy for him somehow when he finally reaches to that end stake of like feeling of getting punished and like sort of losing the trust of his boss. Like what is that like? Other than being in pain. I don't know. I really don't know. Like I can't really offer any like how would I go about it? But I do want to know what it's like for him to feel like what everybody's been talking about, to feel humane again. Like what is that like? Like that. I think that would really make him more dynamic. And to bring it to question 3, I think it would make him more interesting to follow this killer with a reason. It's not just this guy who's like killing out of rage and out of want to impress a boss. Like what else is there for him? So yeah, that's all I have for Jeff.
Okay, I have a suggestion for that. Maybe something worth trying for Ega, and also 10 minutes left, Ega. Anyway, so I'll get into the suggestion. Since we're in the first person point of view of Jeff, I also kind of got curious of like what his thoughts are of the neighborhood where he and Tim go to, or like even because right at the start they travel to the house where they're gonna kill the family. So I think during the travel time, Jeff can have like, I mean, we can learn more about like Jeff's thoughts probably when he's driving the car and when he goes to this neighborhood. Like, what does this neighborhood look like? Is it a fairly rich neighborhood that does Jeff get jealous when he sees like maybe this is a rich neighborhood, or does he feel some sort of pity when this neighborhood isn't as nice as maybe, I don't know, other neighborhoods he's seen like on TV or something? or like, is it a poor neighborhood, and does he see some things in the neighborhood that maybe remind him of maybe his past life, like those things. I think more introspection and like focusing on what attracts Jeff's attention would let the reader know what Jeff likes and dislikes. So for example, yeah, when they get to the house, like what does the house look like? Right? Like when he enters the house, right? Like maybe he would have, or like some things would call his attention or jump at him, like some random lamp or like a couch, whatever. Um yeah, somehow I feel like that would help us see what's going on in his mind, and therefore see him more as a human being. So for example, also maybe like when he kills the, or right when he is trying to kill the husband and the wife, like what do they look like to him? So yeah, maybe those descriptions would help.
I see. Yeah.
But you're on the right track actually when we see the wife, just accept death, and it reminds him of Tim. I think more of those instances of seeing things and then maybe like a flashback, um or him seeing something and then just reaction, like that thing is ugly, or whoa, that thing looks kind of cute actually. Like, yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. I see. Uh, Again, keep that in mind. I don't know if I would add that in, but yeah, I will keep that. And to be honest, I don't really understand what Theo wanted me to do. Like he wanted to able to feel more empathy toward Jeff, or
Yeah. I wanted to feel sort of his humanity more, I think is what I'm trying to pinpoint. Like I want to know if how human, how difficult is it for him to be in touch with like that softness in him.
well, I mean, the whole point of Jeff is that he didn't want his humanity anymore.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. I wanted to see more of like how he rejects it and how he fights it. And I think I can see a little bit of that, but I want more.
I
I'm
see.
just a
Maybe not
selfish
in the
little
story.
shit, you know?
Yeah, maybe some other story when I write it. Okay, another question. Yeah, I guess I'll go to this one. What I guess many people already mentioned it, but I'll ask again either way. Maybe you can elaborate more. Like, what do you think of Tim's and Jeff in the story? Like their relationship, like in the last. I think some people like see some tension with them from. I mean, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm good. But for this one, do you also like feel some kind of tension, or maybe just pure toxicity or something like that? I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah,
Tell me.
please let
I
me
want
go
to.
first. Because I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but I can see some gay shit going on.
I knew it.
I'm so sorry if that was typical of me to say, but
Oh, no,
I did sense like this very like romantic thing. Like it's not even romantic really. It's just it's that thing. Maybe it's like almost like what men in battle have together. You know what I mean? That bond that they develop when they go to war together, that sort of thing. It's so sort of the tension is so there that I wanted them to touch like at the end of the story. Like I wanted like just give me like a hand graze. You know what I mean? Like make their hands touch. I want that. Like just to communicate to the readers that yeah, this is like something like that's alive in both of them. There's this sort of humanity in both of them that they can't really escape no matter how much they try to. But it's there. They will try to fight it, but it's there. You know what I mean? Like It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be necessarily gay, but that's my reading of it.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, I do kind of feel like that after writing it, especially the holding hands part. Okay, what do you want to say, Steph?
Same as Theo. Like, I got probably like 3 hints of like bromance slash, just like affection. And I was so happy to see it. Like, I wasn't expecting to see it because, like, the previous stories of them, it's like, just toxic, killing, whatever, power play. And now this is just like, wow, they care for each other. It's real. Like, oh my, I was just so happy. And um, yeah, pretty much what Theo said, honestly. And good job at it. I really like it. The dynamic felt real. This kind of like affection that they're trying to show, but also like hide at the same time. So they're just testing the waters type of thing. Um, I love it. It felt real.
Thank you. Okay, who goes next?
Hello. I also agree. I also agree. I mean, for the most part, especially after reading the last few pieces, I definitely tried to suppress like my urge to ship them, even though they are shippable. But especially after reading the ending, the part where Jeff said that it makes the pain more bearable. Like, I definitely think there's something going on. So, like what Steph said, or I think it was Theo who said this. Hold on. Sorry. I'm in a shipping high. Anyway, like, I definitely think there's some toxic things going on, but then again, that's usually the case if one of them is kind of psychotic. But I actually think that it's working towards something. It doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't like, it's still your choice if you wanted to go there. But I don't know, like the holding hands, the pain getting more bearable, like they trust each other even though Jeff said they can never be friends. So, like, yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Charlie.
I do remember thinking to myself like a few times, like, okay, like being reminded that this is uh, fan fiction. I remember like our discussion before, how like we had the discussion the first time we tackled the fanfic. What is most fanfic like, and yeah, this whole shipping of like friends, usually two guy friends. Uh, it's pretty like common trope, quote unquote, in fanfic, and it's not like it's not snuff at all. Like it's not gross at all. So yeah, it's like a little wink wink to like how we were saying like in fanfic, there's like this whole like internal joke thing. Um like only the fans would know. And so like yeah, it's a wink to people who are shipping these two guys. I think. I mean I don't know that.
I see. Like, even though it's not shipped, like canon ship in the story, like there's like some possibility that,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
all the reader will pick no matter what. Even though this is not canon, I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, like when I write the story, I did even like, writing it in a gay way. Like, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, but I can see why people would see it. I understand. Yeah.
All right, Ega. You have 5 seconds left.
Now, yes, I don't really have it. Mm, But I do want to mention something.
Sure.
Like, where is it? I need to find it. Like Jeff said something like, if I could hold myself back, and then Slenderman said something that they wouldn't have died. I need to pick up. But yeah, that was like, I never like elaborate further on that, but it's supposed to have some connection with his parents, because like in the original story, he make himself look demonic like in the original photo. Yeah, and then he asks his parent if he looks beautiful, and the parents lie, of course, because they love their son. Yeah, look beautiful, but then they want to hold him, and then he was mad, and then he killed them. Yeah, so yeah, he said that because he kind of regret killing them, kind of. Also not because they not don't think he was beautiful. They didn't accept him for his, yeah, his ugly face.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
I would die by now. Yeah. So like in the deleted scenes, I was planning at first to write it in here, but like I just cannot find a way to make it like for me natural. That's why in the end I discarded it. If you guys want to read the deleted scenes, it's down there. If you're curious what's the old person what's going to be. Yeah.
At least for me, I actually didn't read the deleted scenes because I like the story as is, and I didn't want to like color my view more because I think it's also a pretty long short story, right? Like 5,000 words. Like, yeah, it's pretty long. So for me, for 5,000 words, I think you achieved a lot.
Nice one.
Yay!
Yay.
Thanks, Ega.